On May 11th, something shifts in the unseen realm that has your name written on it. This is not a random date. This is not a coincidence. This is not another ordinary morning where you wake up, scroll your phone, and go back to your routine. No. On May 11th, Archangel Michael declares, "Open this at once. An amazing surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay. Open it immediately. And before you question it, before you doubt it, listen carefully. There is something already set in motion. Something dispatched. Something released. And the reason you are hearing this now is because heaven does not want you distracted when it arrives. For weeks, maybe even months, you have been sensing that something is about to change in your house. Not just your physical house, but your atmosphere, your peace, your finances, your relationships, your spiritual protection. You felt pressure. You felt delay. You felt resistance. But what you did not see was the battle happening behind the scenes. Archangel Michael has been standing guard over your doorway. There were forces trying to delay what was meant to reach you. There were whispers trying to confuse you. There were moments designed to make you give up just before the blessing knocked. But here is the revelation that will shock you. The delay was not denial. The silence was not absence. The waiting was preparation. And now the instruction is urgent. Open this at once. This message is not about a random object. It is about readiness. It is about awareness. It is about spiritual alignment. Because the surprise on its way to your home is not just material. It carries confirmation. It carries restoration. It carries evidence that your prayers were heard. And here is what makes this once in a lifetime, the timing. May 11th is a divine checkpoint, a marker in your spiritual timeline, a moment where what was held back is now being authorized. Archangel Michael does not step forward without purpose. When he declares something, it is because a battle has been won. And when he says, "Open it immediately," it means hesitation could cause you to miss the fullness of what is being delivered. Some of you have been ignoring signs. You brushed off dreams. You dismissed repeated numbers. You ignored sudden feelings to clean, organize, or prepare your space. That was not random. That was preparation for arrival. There is a shift coming to your home environment. You may notice it as a sudden sense of calm, or a sudden call, or a knock, or a message, or even a realization that changes everything. But here is the deeper truth. The opening is not just physical. It is emotional. It is spiritual. It is mental. You must open your expectation again. Because somewhere along the journey, disappointment made you close parts of your heart. You said, "I will not hope too much." You said, "I will not get excited again." You said, "I will not expect anything." And that guarded posture protected you for a season. But now, it is time to open again. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold, not to force entry, but to announce readiness. There had been protection over your household that you did not even notice. Arguments that almost happened but did not. Losses that almost occurred but were diverted. Opportunities that seemed small but were strategic. The surprise coming is connected to something you once thought was over. A closed door that is reopening. A conversation that returns with different energy. An answer that finally makes sense. But the urgency remains. Do not delay your response. When you sense the shift act. When you feel the nudge move. When the opportunity appears to receive. This is not the time to overthink. This is not the time to analyze fear. This is the time to align. because what is approaching your home carries acceleration, and acceleration requires readiness. Some of you are about to receive unexpected good news. Some of you are about to see a financial relief. Some of you are about to experience peace in a space that felt heavy for too long. But the key is awareness. If you treat it casually, you may miss its magnitude. If you treat it as coincidence, you may overlook its purpose. Heaven is not vague in this moment. The declaration is clear. The instruction is direct. The timing is precise. On May 11th, do not ignore what arrives, whether it is a message, a thought, a call, a delivery, or a divine idea placed into your spirit. Open it immediately, because the surprise is not just about receiving. It is about confirmation that you were never forgotten. And what happens next will prove that everything you endured was building toward this exact moment. Are you ready to recognize it when it comes? Beloved soul, something is intensifying as May 11th approaches, and you can feel it in your spirit even if you cannot explain it in words. There is a strange mixture of anticipation and nervousness rising inside you. That is not anxiety. That is alignment. When Archangel Michael releases a declaration over your home, the atmosphere begins to rearrange itself to make space for what is coming. You may have noticed small disturbances recently. Sudden mood shifts in people around you. Unexpected delays. Minor inconveniences that seem pointless. But what if I tell you those were signs that movement has already started? When something powerful is on its way, resistance often flares up at the edges. It is the last attempt to distract you before breakthrough enters. The declaration was clear. Open this at once. Do not delay. And now you must understand why urgency matters. Sometimes blessings arrive quietly. They do not announce themselves with thunder. They appear disguised as simple opportunities. A message you almost ignore. A knock you almost postpone. A conversation you almost reschedule. But this time, hesitation could cost momentum. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of divine timing. His role is not only protection but activation. When he speaks, gates open. When he declares, access is granted. And on May 11th, access is being granted to something that has your household's name written across it. This surprise is not random. It has been prepared with precision. Think about the prayers you whispered late at night. Think about the silent tears you wiped away when no one understood your struggle. Think about the times you chose faith over fear even when results were invisible. None of that was wasted. All of that became the foundation for what is now being released. You might be wondering what exactly is coming. The truth is, it will look different for each person hearing this. For some, it will be financial relief that restores stability in your home. For others, it will be reconciliation that heals a strained relationship. For someone listening right now, it will be clarity about a decision that has been tormenting your mind for months. The form may differ, but the source is the same. It is divine authorization. And here is something you must not ignore. The enemy of your peace knows something is coming too. That is why distractions feel louder right now. That is why doubt tries to whisper, nothing will happen. But those whispers are a sign that something significant is indeed on its way. Do not shrink your expectation now. Expand it. Prepare your physical space. Clean a corner you have been neglected. Organize a drawer. Shift something in your environment. These small acts are prophetic movements. They signal readiness. When you move in faith, you align with the flow of what heaven is dispatching. And let me speak directly to your heart. If this message resonates with your spirit, Do not stay silent. Like this video as a declaration of agreement. Share it with someone who needs confirmation. Comment what you are expecting to receive. Subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing community that stands under divine protection. When you engage, you are not just supporting content, you are amplifying a message that may unlock someone else's breakthrough. There is power in collective agreement. There is strength when believers align in expectation. Your interaction is not small. It is part of the ripple effect. Now listen carefully. As May 11th unfolds, pay attention to what feels different. You may notice a sudden shift in tone within your home. A lighter energy. A renewed sense of hope. Do not dismiss it. That is the atmosphere adjusting to accommodate arrival. Some of you have been living in survival mode for too long. Always bracing for the next problem. Always preparing for disappointment. But this time, you must prepare for favor instead. That may feel unfamiliar. It may even feel uncomfortable. But you are being invited to receive without suspicion. The command to open immediately also means do not overanalyze the blessing. Do not question whether you deserve it. Do not delay your acceptance because of past failures. This surprise is not a reward for perfection. It is a response to perseverance. And something else is unfolding that you cannot yet see. The arrival into your home will create a chain reaction. One door opening will lead to another. One confirmation will unlock confidence. One answered prayer will restore courage you thought was gone. So keep your heart alert. Keep your spirit attentive. There is more to this than you realize. What is about to happen will make the recent struggle make sense. It will reveal that you were being positioned, not punished. Hold steady. Because what follows next will explain why the timing of May 11th was never accidental. Trust me, the next revelation will shift how you see everything that has happened in your house up until now. Faithful one, what I am about to reveal will explain why your home has felt like a battlefield and a sanctuary at the same time. There were moments of tension that made no sense. Sudden waves of emotion. Unusual dreams. Random memories resurfacing. You thought it was stress. You thought it was exhaustion. But in the unseen realm, something was being contested over your address. When Archangel Michael declares that something must be opened immediately, it means the resistance phase has ended. The struggle you felt was not because you were failing. It was because something valuable was approaching. And valuable things are always contested before they arrive. There has been a spiritual marking placed over your household. Not a mark of danger, but a mark of distinction. Your home has been selected as a place where a shift will begin. That is why the pressure increased before this announcement. The closer you moved toward breakthrough, the more intense the interference became. But here is the turning point. The interference has lost authority. On May 11th, a line is drawn. What tried to block your peace will no longer have permission. What attempted to delay your progress will no longer have access. Archangel Michael does not make declarations lightly. When he speaks over a home, he is signaling that protection has moved into enforcement mode. You may have sensed lately that certain negative patterns were breaking without explanation. Arguments that usually escalate suddenly diffused. Financial strain that seemed constant suddenly softened. Emotional heaviness that lingered began to lift. These were not coincidences. They were early signs that the tide was shifting. Now, the command to open immediately carries another layer of meaning. There may be something placed in your hands that looks ordinary but carries extraordinary impact. A document, a proposal, a conversation, a realization that connects past confusion into clear understanding. Whatever form it takes, it will contain evidence that heaven has been orchestrating behind the scenes. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Sometimes the most powerful surprises enter quietly. They do not shake the ground. They settle gently into your space and then begin transforming everything from within. There is also an emotional opening required. Some of you closed your hearts after disappointment. You told yourself you would never trust a new opportunity again. You promised you would never expect too much from people. You decided to guard your joy so tightly that even blessings struggle to enter. But this moment demands vulnerability. Archangel Michael's presence over your home is not just about protection from harm. It is about clearing space for restoration. And restoration cannot enter a locked room. It requires openness. You are not being asked to be reckless. You are being invited to be receptive. And something else must be understood. The surprise on its way is not only for you. It will impact everyone connected to your household. The atmosphere shift will influence conversations. Decisions will become clearer. Peace will become more noticeable. Even visitors will sense that something feels different. That is how you will know it has arrived. There will be a calm confidence replacing anxious anticipation. There will be a quiet certainty that things are aligning. There will be a subtle but undeniable awareness that a new chapter has begun. And when that moment comes, do not question it. Do not talk yourself out of it. Do not attribute it to luck. Receive it. There are unseen witnesses celebrating your perseverance right now. Every time you chose patience instead of panic, strength instead of surrender, hope instead of bitterness, you were building spiritual momentum. And now that momentum is about to manifest. May 11th is not about hype. It is about fulfillment. It is about heaven honoring endurance. It is about protection, transitioning into provision. So when the instruction says open it immediately, understand this is about obedience. Quick obedience unlocks accelerated outcomes. Delayed response can slow what was meant to flow freely. You have waited long enough. You have endured enough confusion. You have questioned yourself enough. Now it is time to step into reception. Type I am ready to receive in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit hath been sensing. Lesson code 1144 has just been activated over your home. And hear this clearly before we move forward. When you respond in faith, you are not just typing words. You are aligning your household with a declaration that has already been spoken in the heavenly realm. Now, as this blessing code is released, understand something deeper. This message does not spread by accident. It reaches those who are meant to hear it. If this word stirred your spirit, it is because your home is part of this divine appointment. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or even through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are sowing seed into fertile spiritual ground. The Lord says, as you sow beside the waters, your harvest will not fail. This is your moment to say, I choose to be a vessel. Every seed you release becomes oil that keeps this light burning for homes around the world. Do not hesitate when the Spirit nudges you. Act in faith. Sow with expectation. And watch how heaven multiplies what you place in His hands. Listen closely, because what unfolds next explains why this surprise had to be timed so precisely. There were cycles operating in your life that needed to close before something new could safely enter your home. If this blessing had arrived earlier, you might have mishandled it. If it had come during your season of doubt, you might have questioned it into disappearance. But now, you are different. You have matured through pressure. You have learned discernment through disappointment. You have gained spiritual awareness through silence. That growth was necessary. Archangel Michael's declaration was not simply about delivering something to your doorstep. It was about ensuring that when it arrives, you recognize its value. In the past, you may have overlooked opportunities because they did not look dramatic enough. You expected fireworks, but heaven often moves through subtle alignment. This time, pay attention to what feels aligned rather than what feels impressive. There has been a recalibration happening within your home. You may have felt the urge to shift furniture, clean out closets, rearrange rooms, or even change small routines. Those impulses were not random. Physical movement often mirrors spiritual preparation. When you create space externally, you signal readiness internally. And here is something profound. The surprise on its way carries restoration energy. It is not only about adding something new. It is about restoring something that was drained, peace that was stolen, confidence that was shaken, stability that felt fragile. Think back to a moment when your home felt lighter, when laughter came easily, when hope felt natural. That atmosphere is returning, but in a more refined form. The chaos you endured did not destroy your foundation. It strengthened it. Some of you have been dealing with unseen tension within your household. Not open conflict, but subtle strain. Misunderstandings, distance, unspoken worries. The shift coming will address those undercurrents. Conversations will begin to flow more honestly. Solutions will appear where confusion once ruled. You will notice cooperation replacing resistance. This is not magic. This is divine orchestration. Archangel Michael's presence signals that protection has secured the perimeter. What enters now enters with permission. What leaves now leaves without struggle. There is a divine filter being placed over your household. Negativity will find it harder to stay. Opportunities will find it easier to reach you. But here is the key. Do not sabotage the shift with old habits. If a positive change begins, nurture it. If an opportunity presents itself, respond with courage. If reconciliation becomes possible, approach it with humility. The instruction to open immediately also means respond immediately to alignment. You cannot carry suspicion into a season of favor. And I must speak to those who feel unworthy. There is a quiet voice inside you saying, "Why would something amazing come to my home?" That voice is rooted in past mistakes. But heaven does not calculate blessings the way humans calculate worthiness. His surprise is not based on flawless performance. It is connected to perseverance and purpose. There is purpose tied to your egress. Your home is meant to become a place of testimony, a place where others witness transformation, a place where peace becomes visible again. The arrival on May 11th will be the spark, but the impact will continue beyond a single day. You may notice confirmation through small signs, repeated phrases, unexpected encouragement from someone who does not know what you are facing, a sudden clarity that settles into your spirit without explanation. These confirmations are gentle reminders that you are not imagining this shift. And something else is important. When the surprise arrives, gratitude will amplify it. Do not downplay what happens. Celebrate it. Speak life over it. Acknowledge it openly. Gratitude creates expansion. It invites increase. The season of barely surviving is closing. The season of intentional living is beginning. You are being repositioned from reactive mode to proactive alignment. Instead of constantly responding to problems, you will begin responding to possibilities. That is a major transition, and transitions can feel unfamiliar at first. You may catch yourself waiting for something to go wrong. Resist that mindset. Train your focus toward what is going right. Train your awareness toward what is improving. Archangel Michael's declaration was a turning point, not a temporary hype. It marked the moment when protection shifted into progression. So as you move closer to this appointed day, stay attentive. Not anxious, not pressured, just aware. Here's the difference between forcing something and receiving something. You are not being asked to chase. You are being invited to receive. Your household is stepping into alignment, and what follows will begin revealing how deeply this shift was needed all along. Precious one, there is something deeper happening beneath the surface of this declaration, and it is time you understand it fully. The surprise on its way to your home is not just about comfort or relief. It is about repositioning. It is about setting your household on a different trajectory than the one you were unconsciously heading toward. For a long time, you have been operating in maintenance mode, fixing problems as they arise, managing situations as best as you can, holding everything together with quiet strength. But maintenance mode is not your destiny. It was a temporary assignment. You were surviving a storm, not building your permanent reality. Now the storm has weakened. Archangel Michael's announcement signals a shift from preservation to expansion. That is why the instruction carried urgency. When expansion begins, hesitation becomes costly. Opportunities move quickly. Doors open and close with precision, and those who are alert step through them at the right moment. You might already feel a subtle confidence returning, a thought that says, maybe things are finally changing. That thought is not imagination. It is intuition aligning with what has been decreed. The energy around your home hath been recalibrated. What once felt heavy is beginning to feel lighter. What once felt blocked is beginning to flow. Even your sleep patterns may have shifted. Dreams becoming clearer. Rest feeling deeper. Or sudden bursts of inspiration arriving at unexpected times. These are indicators. The surprise on its way carries confirmation that you are not stuck anymore. You were paused for protection. There is a difference. When you are stuck, there is no movement. But when you are paused under protection, movement is being prepared behind the scenes. Think about how many times something almost went wrong but did not. How many close calls you experienced. How many decisions you changed at the last minute that later proved wise. You were being guided more than you realized. And now guidance transitions into manifestation. There is something symbolic about opening immediately. You reflect trust. When you open something without delay, you show expectation. You demonstrate belief that what is inside carries value. That posture of expectation activates acceleration. If fear tries to resurface, remind yourself of this moment. Remind yourself that Archangel Michael stands as guardian over your threshold. Nothing that enters your home during this season enters without purpose. Nothing that leaves departs without reason. You are entering a chapter where clarity replaces confusion. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because your perception has sharpened. You will recognize alignment faster. You will sense misalignment quicker. You will move with greater confidence. And here is something profound. The surprise may reveal that what you thought was lost was actually being refined. An opportunity that seemed good may return in a better form. A person who distanced themselves may reconnect with new understanding. A financial strain may resolve through an unexpected channel. Do not limit the form of your blessing. Sometimes we expect one outcome, and heaven delivers something greater that we would never have imagined on our own. Stay open to possibilities beyond your current vision. You have also been learning patience in a way that felt frustrating. But patience built resilience. Resilience builds stability. Stability now makes you capable of sustaining what is coming. This is not a temporary uplift. is structural change. Your home will begin to feel like a launching ground instead of a hiding place. Ideas that once felt too big will start feeling achievable. Plans that seemed unrealistic will begin to align practically. And when this shift becomes visible, do not attribute it to luck. Recognize it as alignment finally manifesting in the physical realm. There is also a ripple effect attached to this surprise. What enters your home will influence decisions that affect your future months from now. A single moment of opening will lead to connections. Those connections will lead to opportunities. Those opportunities will lead to transformation. That is why urgency mattered. Because timing matters. You were not meant to receive this too early. You were not meant to receive it too late. You were meant to receive it exactly when you are ready to steward it. And readiness is where you stand now. Let your heart remain steady. Let your spirit remain attentive. Let gratitude begin rising even before you see full evidence. Gratitude prepares the atmosphere for increase. The chapter of constant struggle is closing quietly behind you. The chapter of visible movement is opening before you. And as this unfolds, you will begin to see how every delay, every test, and every silent battle was positioning your home for this very breakthrough. Something is about to feel different in a way you cannot ignore. Steadfast heart, the moment you have been sensing is now closer than ever, and there is a reason the atmosphere feels charged. When divine timing converges with readiness, the air itself seems to carry anticipation. You are not imagining the shift. You are standing at the edge of fulfillment. There is something about your home that has been under observation in the spiritual realm. Not in judgment, but in preparation. Every prayer spoken within those walls has been recorded. Every tear that fell in private has been noticed. Every silent decision to keep going instead of giving up has been honored. Nothing has been wasted. Archangel Michael's declaration was not grammatic language meant to excite you temporarily. It was a signal that a spiritual gate has opened. When gates open, access increases. When access increases, movement accelerates. That acceleration is what you are beginning to feel. But acceleration can feel unfamiliar when you have grown used to delay. For so long, you had to wait. Wait for answers. Wait for clarity. Wait for relief. Now that movement is beginning, you might feel slightly unsettled, as if things are happening faster than expected. That is not instability. That is progress. The instruction to open immediately carries yet another layer. It means do not second-guess the blessing when it appears. Do not shrink back into old patterns of doubt. When confirmation arrives, receive it with confidence. Some of you will notice that the surprise does not look the way you imagined. It may come through a person you did not expect. It may arrive through an opportunity that initially seems small. But do not measure the size. Measure the alignment. If it brings peace instead of pressure, clarity instead of confusion, hope instead of heaviness, then you are witnessing fulfillment. There is also a restoration of authority happening within your household. For too long, you may have felt like circumstances were controlling you. Bills controlling your mood. Other people's decisions controlling your peace. Uncertainty controlling your sleep. A dynamic is shifting. You are regaining spiritual authority over your space. You will notice it in subtle ways. A stronger voice when you speak. A clear boundary when something feels wrong. A deeper calm when challenges appear. This is the byproduct of protection transitioning into empowerment. And listen carefully, because this matters. When this blessing manifests, do not isolate yourself in it. Share the testimony. Speak about what changed. Encourage someone else who is still in their waiting season. That is how cycles of blessing multiply. If this message is resonating with you right now, engage with it boldly. Like this video as a sign that you are in agreement with this declaration. Share it with someone whose household needs encouragement. Comment what you are expecting to open in your life. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that stands under divine covering. When you participate, you amplify a word that may reach someone standing on the edge of breakthrough. And hold your attention here, because what unfolds next will reveal why your response in this moment is more significant than you realize. Now understand something deeper. The surprise on its way is not only about external change. It is about internal transformation. You are stepping into a version of yourself that trusts more boldly. A version that recognizes divine alignment faster. A version that moves without hesitation when clarity appears. Your home will reflect this shift. Conversations will feel more purposeful. Decisions will feel less chaotic. Even your daily routine may begin to rearrange naturally. There is a ripple effect unfolding. One opening leads to another. One yes unlocks another door. One act of courage triggers another opportunity. That is why the command was urgent. Delay slows momentum. Immediate action sustains it. You have already endured the hardest part. The uncertainty. The waiting. The quiet battles that no one else saw. What is ahead is lighter. Not because challenges disappear entirely, but because you now move with reinforced protection and clear direction. Archangel Michael's presence over your threshold ensures that what enters during this season carries alignment. You are not walking into chaos. You are stepping into confirmation. And when the surprise arrives, it will feel like a deep exhale after holding your breath for too long. It will feel like finally seeing sunlight after extended clouds. It will feel natural, yet extraordinary at the same time. Stay alert. Stay receptive. The next phase of this unfolding carries a revelation about why your home was chosen for this shift in the first place. Courageous soul, what you are about to understand will change how you interpret everything that has happened inside your home over the past year. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Even the uncomfortable moments were part of a divine rearrangement. You thought certain disruptions were attacks. In truth, many of them were exposures. Patterns that could not follow you into the next season had to be revealed first. Weak foundations had to crack so they could be rebuilt stronger. Conversations that were avoided had to surface so clarity could finally enter. Archangel Michael does not stand guard over a home without purpose. When he declares that something must be opened immediately, it means the season of preparation has ended and the season of manifestation has begun. But manifestation is not only about receiving something new. It is also about releasing what no longer belongs. Look carefully at what has quietly exited your life recently. Certain connections faded. Certain habits lost their grip. Certain fears no longer hold the same power. You may have mourned some of those losses, not realizing they were making space for alignment. There is a spiritual principle at work here. Before a gift arrives, space must exist to contain it. If your hands are full of old weight, you cannot receive new substance. If your rooms are crowded with unresolved tension, peace struggles to settle. That is why you felt compelled to clear, organize, rethink, and reset. Your spirit was responding to an unseen instruction. Now, as May 11th stands as a marked moment, the atmosphere around your home feels different because it is different. Protection has stabilized your perimeter. Distractions are losing intensity. Doubt is weakening. And here is something that will surprise you. The blessing coming may unlock something you forgot you desired. A dream that you once placed on hold. An idea you dismissed as unrealistic. a direction you quietly wished for but never spoke out loud. The surprise is not random. It is deeply personal. Archangel Michael's involvement signifies that what is arriving carries strategic importance. It is not just about comfort. It is about calling. There is purpose attached to your household. There are future conversations that will begin because of what happens next. There are testimonies that will be born from this shift. You were not meant to remain in survival mode permanently. Survival was training. It built resilience. It strengthened discernment. It sharpened awareness. But now survival transforms into strategy. You will begin making decisions from clarity rather than fear. You will start planning with confidence instead of hesitation. You will feel an inner stability that does not shake as easily. The command to open immediately also means do not delay stepping into your new mindset. Sometimes we physically receive a blessing but mentally remain stuck in old patterns. That cannot happen now. As the outer shift occurs, allow the inner shift to follow. Speak differently about your future. Think differently about your possibilities. Expect differently from your environment. Your home is transitioning from a place of endurance to a place of expansion. And expansion can feel vulnerable at first. You might catch yourself wondering if it is too good to be true. You might wait for something to interrupt the momentum. Resist that reflex. Trust the declaration that has already been spoken. Archangel Michael's presence ensures that what unfolds is not fragile. It is supported. Another important truth must be understood. The surprise will likely arrive in a way that requires your participation. It may open a door, but you must step through it. It may present an opportunity, but you must respond. Divine alignment often meets human action halfway. So stay alert. Not anxious, but attentive. You may notice synchronicity increasing. The right information appearing at the right time. The right conversation happening unexpectedly. The right solution surfacing when you least expect it. These are indicators that orchestration is active. And as all of this unfolds, remember that your home was not chosen randomly. There is influence attached to your address. Others will observe the shift and quietly find hope because of it. What is about to happen will validate your endurance. It will confirm that your waiting was not in vain. It will prove that protection was operating even when you felt alone. And when the surprise finally settles into your space, you will realize something profound. The declaration was not just about a single moment. It was about the beginning of a new rhythm within your household. The next revelation will explain how this rhythm extends beyond one day and shapes the months ahead in ways you have not yet imagined. Watchful one, the rhythm that is beginning inside your household is not temporary. It is not a sudden spike of excitement that fades after a few days. It is a recalibration of your spiritual atmosphere. And once a home has been recalibrated under divine protection, it does not easily return to its former state. You may already sense that something invisible has shifted. The tension that once lingered in certain rooms feels weaker. The heaviness that once settled over conversations feels lighter. Even your own thoughts are beginning to sound different. Where there was constant worry, there is now cautious optimism. Where there was confusion, there is growing clarity. This is how transformation begins. Quietly, internally, gradually becoming visible. Archangel Michael's declaration was not only about what arrives on May 11th. It was about what continues after it. The surprise is a catalyst. It triggers momentum. It unlocks flow. It sets a new tone for how your household operates moving forward. There is something powerful about divine timing intersecting with readiness. If the blessing had come earlier, you might have celebrated it but failed to sustain it. Now you are prepared to steward it wisely. You have learned from past cycles. You recognize red flags sooner. You value peace more deeply. But maturity ensures longevity. And here is something many do not realize. When a home shifts spiritually, external opportunities begin aligning differently as well. New connections form. Old conflicts dissolve. Invitations appear. Resources begin to move in ways that once felt blocked. The rhythm changing inside your house will ripple outward into your environment. You will notice that conversations carry more substance. You will feel more grounded when making decisions. You will sense guidance more clearly when facing crossroads. These are signs that protection has moved from defense into advancement. But let me speak honestly. Not everyone around you will immediately understand this shift. Some may sense your growing confidence and misinterpret it. Others may notice your calm and question it. You not allow external opinions to disturb internal alignment. The recalibration happening in your home is sacred. Guard it. You do not need to explain every change. You do not need to justify every decision. Move quietly with conviction. The surprise that arrives is only the beginning. It signals that a season of confirmation has begun. Small evidences will follow. Doors will open that once seemed permanently closed. Solutions will appear where problems once multiplied. You will begin to feel guided rather than pressured. And something deeper is taking place within you. Your trust is being rebuilt. Perhaps disappointment once made you cautious. Perhaps delays once made you skeptical. But now, as manifestation becomes visible, trust returns. Trust in timing. Trust in protection. Trust in your ability to discern. Archangel Michael's presence over your threshold is not symbolic. It represents enforcement of peace. It represents stability secured. It represents alignment guarded. And because of that, your household enters a season where chaos loses authority. As this new rhythm settles, cultivate gratitude intentionally. Speak appreciation over your space. Acknowledge improvements, even small ones. Gratitude anchors blessing. It prevents you from slipping back into fear-based thinking. There will be moments when you pause and realize how far you have come. The struggles that once consumed your mind will no longer hold the same weight. The fears that once dictated your decisions will no longer dominate. This is freedom emerging gradually. And before we move further, seal this shift with intention. Type "My home is aligned" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2288 is now activated over your household. Let that declaration mark this moment. Now understand something profound. When this alignment spreads, it does not remain confined to your walls. It reaches other homes, other families, other individuals who are searching for confirmation that change is possible. If this message stirred your spirit, do not let it stop here. When you release super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seed into living soil. The Lord says, "Give, and it shall be given back to you, pressed down and overflowing." This is not charity. It is participation in divine expansion. Say within yourself, "I choose to fuel this light." Every seed you sow becomes oil that keeps revelation flowing to households across the world. Move now. Sow boldly. And watch how heaven multiplies your obedience into harvest beyond your expectation. Attentive soul, now that the rhythm inside your home has begun to shift, you must understand what this truly means for the days ahead. This is not just a blessing arriving at your door. This is a repositioning of your household in the spiritual order of things. You are moving from reaction to authority, from uncertainty to direction. There was a time when your home felt like it was constantly responding to problems. Something would break, and you would fix it. A conflict would rise, and you would calm it. A bill would appear, and you would manage it. It felt like life was always one step ahead of you. But now, something is reversing. You are no longer chasing stability. Stability is beginning to settle around you. Archangel Michael's declaration did more than announce a surprise. It marked a boundary. What once had access to your peace no longer holds that same entry point. The shift is subtle, but it is real. You will begin noticing that certain stress triggers do not provoke you the way they once did. Situations that would have overwhelmed you before now feel manageable. This is evidence of reinforcement. Your home has been strengthened from within. And here is something even more significant. The blessing arriving is not isolated from your future. It is connected to a larger sequence of events. Think of it as the first visible domino in a chain reaction that has already been set up behind the scenes. One confirmation will build your confidence. That confidence will influence your decisions. Those decisions will open further opportunities. And those opportunities will establish new patterns inside your household. This is why hesitation was discouraged. Momentum matters. You may notice that your intuition feels sharper. You sense when something is right. You recognize when something is misaligned. A heightened awareness is part of the recalibration. When protection surrounds a home, clarity often increases. There is also a restoration of joy happening quietly. Not loud excitement, but steady contentment. A sense that things are finally making sense. A calm assurance that you are not walking blindly anymore. If you look back honestly, you will realize how much growth occurred during your waiting season. You developed patience you did not know you possessed. You discovered strength in moments you thought would break you. You learned how to endure without losing your integrity. Now those lessons become assets. The surprise that arrives may look simple on the surface, but it carries validation. It confirms that your perseverance was not ignored. It proves that protection was active even when progress was invisible. And something else is important to understand. As your home shifts, your relationships may adjust as well. Some connections will deepen. Others may fade naturally. Do not resist this process. Alignment often clarifies who belongs in your next chapter. You are not being isolated. You are being refined. There may also be practical changes unfolding. Financial adjustments. New responsibilities. Fresh routines. These are not burdens. They are upgrades. With upgrade comes responsibility, but also greater capacity. Archangel Michael's involvement ensures that the capacity you need will match the opportunity presented. And as this transformation continues, guard your mindset carefully. The mind can attempt to revert to old fears even when new evidence is present. Do not let outdated narratives re-enter your thinking. When doubt whispers, respond with awareness of what has already shifted. Your household is no longer in the same position it was months ago. You are operating from reinforcement rather than fragility. You are moving with direction rather than confusion. You are receiving with confidence rather than suspicion. This is what divine timing produces. The surprise is not the end of the story. It is the visible sign that a new chapter has officially begun. The months ahead will carry gradual confirmations that you are on stable ground. And as stability increases, vision expands. You will begin thinking beyond immediate survival. You will consider long-term plans. You will imagine possibilities that once felt unrealistic. This is how growth manifests. Do not rush it. Let it unfold naturally. Trust the recalibration. Trust the protection. Trust the sequence that has already begun. Because what you are experiencing is not temporary excitement, it is foundational change. And in the next revelation, you will understand how your participation in this shift determines the magnitude of what unfolds next. Determined one, now you stand at a crucial intersection. The shift has begun. The rhythm has changed. The surprise has either arrived or is arriving at this very moment. But here is the truth that must be understood clearly. What happens next depends on how you respond. Divine declarations open doors, but human participation determines how far you walk through them. Archangel Michael's announcement was not only about delivery, it was about activation. Something hath been placed within your reach, and now your response will shape its expansion. This is not meant to create pressure. It is meant to awaken awareness. In past seasons, you may have received opportunities but hesitated. You may have delayed decisions until momentum faded. You may have doubted yourself out of growth. But this time, you are different. You are more discerning. You are more stable. You are more prepared. The recalibration inside your home has strengthened you for stewardship. If a financial opening appears, manage it wisely. If reconciliation unfolds, nurture it intentionally. If a new idea ignites within you, pursue it courageously. The blessing was not sent to decorate your life. It was sent to elevate it. You will notice that confidence now feels quieter but stronger. It is not loud excitement. It is steady assurance. This is the sign of maturity. You are no longer chasing validation. You are recognizing alignment. And here is something essential. Protect this new atmosphere fiercely. Not with aggression, but with boundaries. If negativity attempts to re-enter your space, address it quickly. If old patterns try to resurface, replace them immediately. The instruction to open immediately also applies to correction. Do not allow small misalignments to grow. Momentum thrives in clarity. You may also feel an urge to take bold steps that once intimidated you. Perhaps reaching out to someone, applying for something, starting something, speaking up where you once stayed silent. These impulses are not random. They are signs that fear is losing control. Archangel Michael's protective covering gives you the courage to move without constant hesitation. And as you move, you will begin to see confirmation stacking upon confirmation. One breakthrough leading to another. One resolved issue revealing a new possibility. It will feel like a door that once resisted now swings open more easily. But let me speak directly to you in this moment. Do not consume this message passively. Engage with it actively. Like this video as a declaration that you are stepping forward boldly. Share it with someone who needs the courage to respond to their own open door. Comment what you are choosing to activate in your household. Subscribe to this channel and become part of a community that stands under divine momentum. Your engagement is not small. It sends a signal that you are ready to move with what has been released. And keep listening closely, because what follows will reveal how this moment shapes your long-term trajectory. Now understand something powerful. The surprise was not random kindness. It was strategic positioning. You are being repositioned into a place where influence increases, where stability expands, where your decisions carry greater impact. This may feel unfamiliar at first. When influence grows, responsibility grows alongside it. But you are not stepping into this alone. The same protection that guarded your waiting season now guards your advancement season. You may look around your home and realize how much has changed internally. Even if external evidence is still unfolding, you feel stronger. You think clearer. You respond calmer. This internal reinforcement is the true foundation of lasting transformation. And here is the deeper revelation. What you do consistently in the coming weeks will determine the scale of expansion. If you nurture gratitude daily, peace will multiply. If you act decisively when opportunities appear, growth will accelerate. If you maintain boundaries, stability will endure. The door has opened. Now your walk matters. You are no longer surviving. You are building. You are no longer reacting. You are initiating. You are no longer waiting. You are moving. And as this movement continues, the next unfolding truth will reveal why your obedience in this season carries generational impact beyond what you can currently see. Chosen vessel, what is unfolding in your home right now is larger than your immediate comfort. It is generational in nature. The shift you are experiencing is not only for your present peace, it is establishing a new pattern that those connected to you will benefit from long after this moment passes. You may not have realized it before, but cycles were operating quietly in your household. Patterns of delay, patterns of financial strain, patterns of emotional miscommunication. These cycles did not start with you, yet they were attempting to continue through you. That is why resistance felt so strong. Breaking cycles always creates pressure. Archangel Michael's declaration marked the interruption of those cycles. When he commanded that it be opened immediately, it was not just about receiving a blessing. It was about breaking repetition. It was about preventing old patterns from regaining momentum. It was about establishing a new spiritual standard over your address. And you responded. That response matters more than you think. Because every time you choose alignment over fear, you weaken the grip of old cycles. Every time you nurture peace instead of reacting in frustration, you establish a new rhythm. Every time you steward an opportunity wisely, you signal that your household is ready for greater responsibility. You may begin to notice subtle differences in those around you. Family members reacting more calmly. Conversations resolving more smoothly. Even younger individuals in your environment showing unexpected maturity. This is not coincidence. When the atmosphere shifts, behavior adjusts. The protection over your home is not passive. It is active. It filters influences. It exposes hidden tension before it escalates. It strengthens unity quietly. There is something powerful about a home that has been spiritually reinforced. It becomes a place of restoration, not just for those who live there, but for those who visit. Others may walk into your space and feel comfort they cannot explain. They may sense stability without knowing why. That is influence expanding. And here is something crucial to understand. Influence requires maintenance. Not fear-based guarding, but conscious cultivation. Continue speaking life within your walls. Continue expressing gratitude. Continue addressing small issues before they grow. Do not allow complacency to undo what diligence built. The surprise that arrived with a catalyst. The discipline you practice now determines sustainability. You are entering a season where your decisions echo further than before. A wise choice today protects tomorrow. A courageous step today unlocks next year. This is how generational impact begins. Quiet obedience. Consistent alignment. Steady stewardship. Archangel Michael's involvement was not temporary. His declaration set a precedent. It signaled that your household carries purpose beyond ordinary routine. You may begin sensing new vision forming in your mind. Plans that extend beyond immediate needs. Goals that consider long-term stability. This is expansion of perspective. Survival mode shrinks vision. Stability restores it. And with restored vision comes responsibility. But do not fear responsibility. You have been trained through every challenge you endured. The patience you develop, the discernment you sharpened, the resilience you strengthened, all of it prepared you for this elevated chapter. There will be moments when you look back and realize that what once felt like setbacks were actually protective delays. If certain things had succeeded earlier, you might not have developed the maturity to sustain them. Now you are ready. You are not the same person who first began this waiting season. You are more grounded, more aware, more stable. And because of that, the influence of your home increases naturally. Continue walking in humility. Continue responding quickly when alignment appears. Continue protecting your atmosphere without apology. The generational shift does not require grand gestures. It requires daily consistency. There is also a deep peace settling within you now, a quiet knowing that you are not striving blindly anymore, that you are supported, guarded, directed. That peace is confirmation. As this journey approaches its culmination, one final revelation remains. It will tie together the declaration, the surprise, the shift, and the future that now stands before you. And when you understand it fully, you will recognize that May 11th was not just a date. It was a turning point written into your destiny long before you ever realized it. Beloved of heaven, now you see it clearly. May 11th was never just a date on a calendar. It was a divine intersection. A moment where preparation met permission. A moment where protection transitioned into progression. A moment where Archangel Michael did not merely announce a surprise, but activated a new era over your home. Look back at everything that led to this point. The silent battles, the unanswered questions, the nights when you felt alone inside your own thoughts. You were not abandoned. You were being fortified. Every delay was constructing endurance. Every challenge was strengthening your foundation. Every closed door was redirecting your path toward this appointed turning point. The surprise that arrived, or is arriving, is not the full story. It is the evidence. Evidence that heaven moves with precision. Evidence that your egress was never overlooked. Evidence that protection was stationed at your threshold long before you understood why the pressure intensified. Archangel Michael's declaration to open immediately was about alignment with timing. And now you understand why urgency mattered. Because hesitation could have kept you emotionally tied to an expired season. But you responded. You opened your heart. You opened your expectation. You opened your awareness. And because you opened, momentum was allowed to flow. This is where many miss their elevation. They receive the blessing but fail to recognize the responsibility attached to it. But you are not unaware anymore. You know that what has entered your home carries purpose. It carries generational impact. It carries influence beyond comfort. You are no longer operating from survival. You are building legacy. The atmosphere inside your household has changed. You feel it in the quiet. You sense it in conversations. You notice it in your reactions. There is stability where there was once fragility. There is clarity where there was once confusion. There is courage where there was once hesitation. This is reinforcement made visible. And here is the final revelation. The turning point was not only about what entered your home. It was about who you became in the process. You are sharper, stronger, more discerning, more anchored. The surprise confirmed the shift, but the transformation happened within you. Archangel Michael's presence marked enforcement of peace over your dwelling. That enforcement does not expire. It continues as long as you remain aligned with the principles that brought you here. Awareness, obedience, gratitude, and courage. From this point forward, your decisions will carry greater weight. Your voice will carry greater authority. Your home will radiate greater influence. Others will sense the change even if they cannot explain it. Guard it. Nurture it. Expand it. Because May 11th was not the conclusion of your breakthrough. It was the inauguration of your new rhythm. And now, seal this moment with intention. Type "My house is covered" and called in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 3311 is now released over your household. Let that declaration stand as a marker that you have stepped into your appointed season. And now hear this with clarity. Just as your home was chosen for a divine shift, this message was chosen to reach it. If this word strengthened you, then you already know it is meant to strengthen others. Scripture declares, "The light you receive is not to be hidden under a bowl, but placed on a stand to give light to all." This is your moment to say, "I will help keep the lamp burning." When you release super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are sowing seed into a field where souls are awakened and homes are fortified. The Lord says, "As you give, it shall return to you pressed down and overflowing." Do not delay your obedience. Act now. Fuel this mission. And watch how heaven breathes increase over every seed you release.